A person who loves themselves excessively fears losing control above all else. The worst thing you can do is show them they never had control to begin with. They thrive on attention and emotional turmoil, draining your energy until you question yourself. Here's the truth. You don't need to argue or seek revenge. Regain your peace of mind with calm resolve. Today, you'll learn 7 Stoic strategies to render them powerless, not through fighting or shouting, but by cultivating inner strength. Are you ready to see what that looks like? First strategy: withhold the attention they crave. Self-absorbed individuals feed on others' reactions, craving both praise and conflict. The more you engage, the stronger they feel. Stoics know that what you ignore loses its power over you. I learned this working with someone who thrived on constant drama. Every insult or jab was a trap. When I stopped reacting, their game ended. Silence unsettles them more than anger. Marcus Aurelius said, "A lion does not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep." Consider this. What happens when you refuse to give them the attention they demand? Second strategy: set firm, unbreakable boundaries. Self-absorbed people resent limits because boundaries strip away their control. I recall a colleague who constantly overstepped late-night calls, last-minute demands. At first, I explained and justified my refusals, but that only increased the pressure. Then I stopped explaining. I simply said no and stood firm. The tension was real, but it changed everything. Epictetus taught that you control your mind, not external events. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors you choose to lock. When was the last time you held a boundary without apologizing? Third strategy: embody Stoic calm. Self-absorbed people feed on your reactions, pushing until you break, as fear makes you easier to control. I once worked with a manager who thrived on confrontation. One day, I refused to play along. He shouted. I stayed composed, speaking calmly, without emotion. The shift was immediate. He lost momentum because I gave him nothing to grasp. Seneca said, "The wise person is content with their lot." Calm isn't weakness, it's strength in disguise. What would happen if you met chaos with serene silence? Fourth strategy: refuse to justify yourself. Self-absorbed people want you on the defensive. They push you to explain every choice, twisting your words. I learned this from a friend who always questioned my decisions. At first, I explained, but it never helped. Then I stopped. I said no and left it at that. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste time arguing what a good person should be. Be one." When you act with quiet confidence, you shut the door on their control. Fifth strategy: succeed quietly. Nothing unsettles a self-absorbed person more than success they can't influence. I worked with someone who mocked every small achievement, so I stopped sharing them. I focused on my work and let results speak silently. Over time, they grew restless, with nothing to attack. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. Build quietly, and let your progress be your response." What if you stopped proving yourself and simply became someone they couldn't reach? Sixth strategy: understand without entanglement. You can recognize a self-absorbed person's behavior without falling into their trap. I worked with a colleague who thrived on conflict. Instead of reacting, I studied their actions, learning more about human nature than any book could teach. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." When you see them as a lesson, not a threat, their power fades. Can you observe, without being drawn in? That's where true freedom begins. Seventh strategy, walk away and never look back. Sometimes, the only way to triumph is to leave. I knew someone trapped in a cycle of manipulation, always hoping for change that never came. The day they left was the day they reclaimed their peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "Your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts." When you walk away, you choose freedom over control. What would your life be like if you closed that door for good? In conclusion, reclaim your inner strength. These 7 strategies aren't about revenge, but liberation. Each one pulls you out of their reach and back to your own power. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from mastering yourself, not others. When you stop fueling their game, you rise above them. You choose clarity over chaos. Are you ready to reclaim your strength and live unshakably? Share your thoughts and begin your transformation today.